everyone, it's Miss Eileen. Today's activity is salt painting, so I hope you'll have fun with this activity. It's probably best if you do this activity in 2 stages because there is a little bit of drying time involved. So what you're going to need for this activity is table salt, and I've put it in a little bowl here for easier use, white school glue, an empty bowl, 3 small bowls of water, and food coloring, different colors of food coloring. If you don't have food coloring, you can always use watercolor paints, an eyedropper or a medicine dropper, and again, if you don't have a medicine dropper or an eyedropper, you can use a little paintbrush, shapes to trace. So I've got cookie cutters, a couple of cookie cutters. You can always make something freehand as well. You can use lids off of jars. And the last thing you'll need, a pencil, last 2 things, pencil and cardstock paper. So cardstock paper is a little bit thicker than regular paper that you write on every day because we are using water. If we get too much water on regular paper, it falls apart quite quickly. So the cardstock is a bit easier with that. So the first thing that we're going to do, the first step of this activity, is you're going to choose your shape. And you're going to find a place on your paper and you're going to trace your shape. So I've taken my star and I've traced that. Then you take your glue and you carefully outline the shape that you just traced with the glue. Make a nice line of glue all around the outline of your shape. And then you take your salt and you sprinkle it all over that glue. Don't worry if you use too much. Once you do that and you've got all your glue covered by the salt, you take the extra and you can shake it off into that empty bowl. So now, as I mentioned, this activity does need some time to dry, the first step. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and this is the one I made a little bit earlier. So here are some of the shapes that I have covered. I made a balloon that I just drew, and then the 2 stars that I traced. Both of them have the glue and salt. So now you're going to take your food coloring in your bowls of water. And you're going to put whichever color you want. And don't forget that the more food coloring you put, the darker your paint will appear when you're going to use it. So now it's time to take your your little eyedropper. Squeeze a little bit amount into the eyedropper. And then this is where you need to be careful to just squeeze a little drop at a time onto your salt outline. And you'll notice that just that little drop will spread to more than the space that you put it on. So you can either choose to use the same color for your shape, or you might want to try and put a different color along different spots. So I'm going to go with blue and green for this. And I'll try a little bit of yellow. So there you have it. You can see my salt painting. My star is now blue, green, and yellow. And you'll notice that when you did this, just that little drop of colored water, colored paint that you have will spread. You don't need to paint like you would with a paintbrush. You don't need to go and follow the whole outline. And the reason behind that, everyone, is because salt is a hygroscopic substance, and that means that it's a substance that attracts and absorbs water. So if you wanted to try another experiment, that you could turn your craft salt painting into an experiment, you could try this with sugar and compare your results. You could see if sugar is also a hygroscopic substance. So I hope you enjoyed this activity today, and I look forward to seeing you another day.